Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to compare different strings libraries, how they sound like right out of the box. And just to say that I don't get any sponsors from these companies. I just want to do a quick comparison for you guys for reference, how to, how they sound like right from the start. And if you like the content, please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends to help me make more contents and share more tips with you guys. So this video, I'm going to compare 24 different strings libraries on the market. And of course, there are different ones like I haven't included in here. Either I don't have it or they are very specific for a different purpose of writing different tracks. So these are more generic types of string sessions libraries available. And there's just so many of them, and I can't possibly include every single one of them. But if you do have like favorites, you might want to leave a comment below and see if I will maybe in the future I'll make another video something like that. In this video here, 24 different libraries. Why do I do that? Because, well, of course, I'm always about productivity and efficiency and the time. To save time, of course, we are gonna tweak it or adjust the EQ or reverb or whatever is needed for your track. But of course, I think we need a really good starting point. How do they sound like without any tweaking at all, without any adjustment, so that as songwriters, we know where the starting point is, and then we have a better idea how to tweak it or whether it's possible to tweak it to fit into my track, right? So let's hear these different sample libraries. First one is from Logic itself. It's a updated Logic. They do have really good sample libraries for strings here. This one is okay. Just take a look. Now these MIDI groups here, I could just copy and paste exactly the same velocity, exact same notes. I just changed the articulations according to the different libraries needed. I've included 3 different articulations that are very common in different types of writing. Long sustain, that's the first one. And then pizzicato, because it gives you a different tone of the sound, and also staccato or spiccato, depends on the library. Those are very useful for ostinatos, of course. So let's hear the Logic studio strings. This is included in the updated Logic. One nice thing about it is that it has auto voice split. When I put my strings in this sessions here, it will automatically do the divisi. So let's hear it. But for the spiccato or staccato, I find it without the auto voice split is better. So let's go through all these libraries today. So it's not bad for Logic stock library in my opinion. And I selected this one. It's called King's Cross. You'll find that in the library session, so I'm not going to go into that. All right, so the next one I'm going to look at is called the Orchestra. Oh, I have to separate that into different, the sustain, the pizzicato, and staccato mode, okay? Because it just doesn't come with key switch. All right, so here's the Orchestra by Score. Okay, let's hear it. Again, these are without any reverb, as you can see here, nothing. It's a great, I just want to do like a reference. There's nothing. It's just how it sounds like right out of the box. All right, so this is the orchestra. It's not bad. It's more lush sound, I would say, and more reverb on the pizzicato. Now, the next one is NOVO by Heaviosity. Now, this one is very different, okay? Whether it's the essential or the original one, it's more like a hybrid sound, you'll see. Okay, let's go into it and let's take a look. Okay, obviously there's more bites to it, more hybrid sound, and also if you notice the GUI here, you'll see like the jumping red dot. I think this is a round robin. So different libraries, they have different features, and it really depends on what type of music you want to write, and it will give you different taste or different timbre of the strings. Okay, now this one is palette. Symphonic Sketchpad. I only have this one. It's by Red Room Audio, I think. Yeah, Red Room Audio. So let's hear this one. All right, so sometimes you can see that I choose the staccato because the staccato just doesn't work. The sound itself is not short enough for ostinato, so that's the reason of doing that. And obviously this library is a little more quiet, on the quiet side. And next one we have is Symphobia 1 by Project Sam. Some of these libraries, they are very good. They have the key switch, so I have only one track. The ones without, I will have to have more than one track just to accommodate the different articulations. Anyway, so here we go. right, so it sounds a little further away, and at least you know where to tweak, how to tweak it, or whether it's usable in your music. Are you using it as a background, like the bed, or are you using it as a solo instrument, or like is it going to be carrying the melody? So it really depends on the purpose. Now at least you have a reference point. And for these MIDI, I wrote these ones with by using Berlin string. So you see the region here, they all name Berlin. That's the reason why. And Berlin strings, I have to have 3 separate tracks. And let's open a window so that you know which one I'm talking about. This one, okay, is by Orchestral Tools. Let's hear it. So as you can see, this library gives you the tightness, even though I just choose staccato. This is not even spiccato. And the energy there, you can tell how many players there are, like more players, more energy, the room is different. So that's why, like, why are there so many different libraries? Why can't I just use one and, be done with it? Well, that's the reason. This one here is Spitfire Chamber, and you can tell right away that it's a much smaller room, very intimate environment. Okay, have a listen. So remember, all these libraries, you can still tweak it with more reverb, if you want to add your own reverb, or if you want to have EQ a little bit to fit into your track, of course, like if you do mixing, of course, you know all that. And this is the Chamber Strings by Spitfire. Okay, next one is Symphonic Strings by Spitfire. So if you compare these two, the chamber and the symphonic, obviously the symphonic has more player, the bigger room, bigger concert hall, and you can tell there's a difference, right? Big difference to it. And if you're comparing the staccato, okay, the staccato strings here to the Berlin string, you can completely tell that. You can scroll back to, rewind this video. That one, the Berlin string, has much more energy, especially the fast notes. And this one is not without, it's just more gentle, okay? So that's the reason we have different sample libraries. Now, the next one is Albion ONE. This one is not just a string library. They have different instruments as well, and it's a sometimes on sale. It's a pretty good deal. But anyway, so Albion ONE. Okay, so you can tell that Albion ONE, the staccato, the ostinato part, the spiccato actually, it's much brighter, so it will cut through the mix. If you're looking for something like that, this is the type of library you might want to choose as your starting point, right? So next one is Albion NEO. That's a newer library by Spitfire. Okay, this library sounds a little funny to me. Well, of course, like there are different mics. There's a tree mic. There's like closed mics, and you know all that, the mic position. This one, it's more like I would say like more ambient side or more effect side of. I forget. Actually, I forget what this library is special about. So you can kind of tell sometimes like the note, it lingers after. So obviously may not be the best to carry a melody, but as texture or some other purpose. Anyway, next one. Next one is, ta-da, Cinematic Studio Strings. Okay. This one I did not put the legato on because I want to have sustained multi-notes, okay? And of course, it's famous about the legato. But anyway, that you can explore. Maybe we can explore later. All right, so you can tell that the sustain is very romantically, very dreamy, sustained part. It makes me think of like a movie, like a romantic movie. But the staccato part is actually very energetic, so it's very well-rounded sample library, I think. So this is a Cinematic Studio Strings. Next one. This is from Native Instruments, but made by Audio Bro, I think. That's what it. And Audio Pro, they do make the LASS string library, but that one is apparently very dry. If you're looking for a dry library to add on your own reverb and do your own adjustment, it's a good one, but I have not included that one in this video, so maybe in the future. Okay, so let's take a look at this native instrument string ensemble symphony series. Okay, here we go. Now, of course, sometimes you have to adjust the modulation to make it sound brighter or something, but because this is like a comparison, I have not adjusted any of the phrasing. Everything is the same for all tracks. As you can see, this library here, I purposely added this here. It's all the notes are kind of blend together. Anyway, so here is the string ensemble for you. Sometimes you have to choose between spiccato or staccato. It depends on what kind of sound you're looking for and what the library offers. Now, this one again is by Native Instrument, Session Strings Pro 2. It's the newer one. I remember this one something, well, anyway, let's hear it. Again, very up close, okay? And something to do with the sound is not very warm. It's very dry and very in the high frequency part, okay? It almost sounds like hybrid to me. So that's the Session Strings Pro 2. Okay, so the next one is Audio Anthology. Let's hear it. So for this library, for some reason, when loading it, maybe my computer is not fast enough. I don't have multiple cores. I only have quad core. Maybe that's why. And it's just causing some artifacts, okay? But the sound of it, that's how it sounds like for the Anthology, okay? Now, next one, we have this Audio Intimate Studio Strings, okay? So this one will sound a lot closer to the audience. Let's have a listen. So much closer, much shorter, no reverb, and you can add on your own reverb after. So it's pretty flexible that way. And if you're looking for a certain type of sounds, and this is definitely different from other sample libraries, right? Okay, let's take that away. Now, Jaeger by Audio Imperia. Let's have a listen to this one. Oh, let me show you which one it is. This one. Pretty cool looking GUI. Here we go. So this one is mostly for trailer music, right? And as you can see here, the pizzicato, there's no pizzicato by itself, as far as I know. And the only one is the Bartok pizzicato. That's why you hear that hitting sound. And it's not a fair comparison, sorry, but that's the only thing available here, I think, especially for like a full ensemble string selection. Anyway, so that's the Jaeger sound, and let's go on to the next. The next one is interesting. The next one is by Cinematic Instruments, I think. It's Ensemblia 2. It comes with the long library and the short library. So these libraries, the long one will give you like different voicing, okay? And then the short ones, it gives you a different pre-selected or preset, different kind of element to your music. It's not specifically give you that traditional pizzicato sound. It adds on some other kind of feeling to your track. So it's useful that way, and we can have a listen. Okay, because of the preset is different, as you can see, the short one, the long one is very dreamy, okay, gives you that taste. The short one here, it adds on a harp, so you can tell, hey, that's not just strings. I mean violin, viola, cello, and all that. There's like a harp in there to give you a different different mood to it. Now, for the spiccato, I chose the is it alternative or something? I can't even read, but anyway. It will give you something different here. So this library lets you explore with different harp or trombone added to it, what kind of sound will it give you, right? So it's more like an experimental. Remember, these MIDI region, they're exactly the same, okay? So something to maybe give you inspiration or break away from your normal habit or something like that, gives you a new idea. It's useful that way. So anyway, let's go on to the next one. The next one is the Hyperion String Micro. I only have the micro version because it's the cheapest, and if I need more expensive library, I would just go to other companies, right? So this is by Sound Iron. Let's hear it. Okay, so totally different kind of sound here. We're hearing more edgy sound, and for a sample library, the cheapest version of it, it's not that bad to bring something new to the table. And the next one we have is by Audio-Technica, I think it's Angel String. I think this is the first one. Anyway, surprisingly, with all these little articulations, it will give you something different to your sound. But we are doing a comparison video here. I just choose the sustain and the short notes as well. Anyway, so have a listen. So it doesn't have the pizzicato sound to it, and surprisingly the sustain is very grand sounding, and that's why the middle part sounds funny, because it's not really a pizzicato, it's a staccato. Anyway, to my surprise, this library, it sounds pretty good as well. Now, the next one, it was on sale a while ago. Even though it's on sale, it's actually pretty useful, and it doesn't occupy a lot of space and gives you a not bad sound, I would say, by Kirk Hunter Studios. This is Virtuoso Instruments. It has not only strings, but other instruments as well. But of course, this is a strings libraries comparison. I'm just going to choose the strings. Here we go. So if your string sound is you're looking for is more like a supportive role, I think this library will be okay. And again, it's a very small library. It doesn't occupy a lot of space. That's why the sound may not be as detailed, I would say. Now, almost at the end here. Next one we have East-West. Okay. I usually, because of the play engine, I don't usually use these sounds, but they are actually surprisingly pretty good. Okay, so correctly loaded. First one I'm going to look at is their Symphonic Orchestra. Very powerful. I might have to turn it down a little. Okay, so. Very clean, very powerful as well. Not as powerful as Berlin string, I would say, but it's not bad actually. Okay, so next one we have is same company, East-West, and this is a Hollywood string. Let's have a listen. All right, so this is already spiccato and still very blend together, and also very gentle, much softer than the orchestral strings, I would say. Hollywood strings, so it depends on the type of sound you're looking for. The pizzicato didn't sound very good to me. Maybe they don't really use that in Hollywood strings. I don't know. It's not the type of sound I was looking for. So next one is the Hans Zimmer string. Hans Zimmer strings, and I just chose violins and cellos, and just because I don't want to load all that sound and my computer cannot handle it. Anyway, so let's have a listen. So obviously you can tell the difference. A very smooth sound, but the short note, there's no option for pizzicato for certain collection. As you can see, like you have to select, you have to load different, maybe it's in some other section there, but for the section I have here, there's no pizzicato anyway. So for the short note, there's no pizzicato, like that kind of energy of bum 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 bum. But anyway, so something that, you know, like when you're on the go, you just want to load something and write it, and you may not have the time to really dig into the detail tweaking, hunting of the sound, right? So the last one we're going to look at today is BBC Symphony Orchestra. This one has pizzicato and spiccato. So have a listen. All right, we reached the end. We have listened to 24 different sample libraries of strings, and not the solo ones, but all string sessions, string ensembles. And this is the last one. This is the BBC Symphony Orchestra. And obviously you can tell that with the articulation, with the correct articulation, it sounds more warm, and it also gives you some energy. So different sample libraries, they may have different temper, they may have different rooms, different energy levels, and through these different selection, we can, you know, choose the sound that you want in your track. Depends on the track you're writing. Is it the focus going to be on strings, or is it just for support? Do you want it to cut through? Do you want more hybrid sound? Do you want, I don't know, is it for trailer? Is it for quartet? Is it for pop song, electronic? So it depends on what you're writing. You can choose different sample libraries to support yourself. And also with this reference comparison video, you can kind of tell where's your starting point of tweaking. Okay, make sure you select the correct sample library before you tweak, otherwise you're wasting your time, right? Okay, so hopefully you like this video, and I know it's a little bit long, but I hope it's useful for you guys. And if you like the content, please remember to like and subscribe and share with your friends. And that's it for today, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!